Everyone, welcome to another episode of the Sacred Rage podcast. I am your host, Tasha Renee. I am a sacred scream therapy coach, and today I have Delane with me, which I'm so excited to have her on. Okay, so just forewarning, there may be some background noise. We hear a dog whining. I mean, we're doing real life over here, and I'm not somebody who's going to go in and edit every fucking thing out. So just deal with it. Just fucking deal with it. So if you don't know what I do, I mainly for the past 4.5 years been helping mainly women to heal their trauma through sacred anger and rage release therapeutically. So if you're interested in that, you can always message me and we can talk about that. You can find me at sisterhoodofsacredfire.com. You can email me at Gmail, and you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram under all those, as well as TikTok. So, Delane, do me a huge favor. Tell everybody who you are. If you have something if you want people to be able to find you for a business that you do, any of those things, please tell people how to reach you.
Yeah, thank you. So, like you said, my name is Delane Benson, and I am a registered nurse and a breathwork facilitator. And my main specialty, more than anything, is helping women who are people pleasers and perfectionists and overfunctioners to move out of those phases and out of overwhelm and burnout and all the cycles they get stuck in and into life of ease and happiness and real pure joy. And so you put out a notice for people who wanted to talk about anger. And I think it would surprise a lot of people, but that's what my people need. And that's what I end up doing so much coaching around anger. And no one ever expects that. So I thought this would be a great platform to kind of take your audience that already is exploring rage and help them explore it further with some of these personality patterns that you wouldn't expect, because how I like to refer to my clients as, they are smiling but spiraling. They look like,
Ooh.
oh, I've got it all together. It's fine. That's their word. The key word of my people is fine. Everything's
Yeah.
always fine. And the scary thing, the thing that really frightens me, they believe it in a lot of cases. And it
Yes.
it takes some huge thing happening in their life for them to finally go, oh, maybe I'm not fine. Like maybe I'm not. And so that was kind of the message that that I was inspired to give when I saw your call for a podcast guest.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it
yeah,
sounds like what you deal with, which is, I mean, I deal with it, don't get me wrong, but I think my ideal or what we would call my avatar of a client probably is the person who's like, it's here. They're filled.
right,
They want to fucking
totally,
scream. They want to get their shit out. They want somebody to hold space for them. And there's nobody to do it. And they're just going to explode if they don't fucking let this shit out of their bodies. Right. I feel like
exactly.
you are dealing with what most of the world is dealing with, which is the repressed toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing in general of, again, the word fine is like such a key indicator that you have repressed anger and rage, right? If you're going around telling
Absolutely.
people all the time, I'm fine, if people ask you how you are and you're saying, I'm fine, you're pissed. You're super fucking
Yeah.
pissed. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you said the different personalities. Can you go more into that?
Yeah. So one thing, like just as far as highlighting each personality and kind of what comes up is the perfectionist. If we start with those, like those, and I mostly work with women as well, so I'm just going to have an assumed we're talking about women here,
Yes, of course.
but perfectionists, those women, and I can speak for all of these qualities because I am all of them. Like, that's kind of what my programming was. But yeah,
Sure.
perfectionists are very much oriented in a way that their self-worth is determined by being perfect. If their clothing looks nice and their house looks nice and their car looks nice and their kids look nice and everything is good, then they can sort of for a second feel worthy, but that's not really how they earn worth. And so it's just this endless hole that they're feeling of just trying to fill their self-worth with perfection. And then people pleasing, it is kind of along the lines of that, but it's more tying into your self-worth is you're gaining your self-worth by giving. And it is by acts of kindness, acts of service, by just doing everything for the people around you, and whether they need it or not. And so, but again, you're still chasing that self-worth. And then the other category that I often talk about is overfunctioning. And to me, that just kind of encompasses all of it, is that in every way, this person feels no inherent self worth, no value whatsoever to them. So they're just chasing the value however the hell they can get it. And so it's just jumping thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing and trying to get someone to recognize their worth.
Yeah.
And again, that's why that leads all to overwhelm. It leads to burnout because they're chasing something they will never attain in that way. And
Yes.
it's so heartbreaking to see all these people go through it.
Yeah, for sure. And I always say that people pleasing is a trauma response. And I think perfectionism, I mean, all these, in my opinion, are trauma responses, right? But like I've
100%.
heard so
Yeah.
many people say that people pleasing is a manipulative technique, which really fucking pisses me off. Because for me, when I think of the word manipulative, that means somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. A people pleaser is
Exactly.
doing this out of, like, I was a massive people pleaser and found myself after being at home and being a people pleaser, then moving into other people's homes where I had to be a people pleaser. So if I
Hmm.
didn't people please, I knew that I would be kicked out of my home. I knew that something like possibly worse might fucking happen to me if I were to actually show my
Yep.
power and ask for what I needed,
Yeah.
or object to anything and say my needs, right? So really want people to understand that while yes, in some aspects it's manipulative, as a whole you are doing that out of a pure survival. It's a survival technique. A lot of people, if they didn't do the people pleasing, they would have been abused further or worse, right?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a I definitely want to make sure, and I feel like on the other end, I don't know about if you see this in your work as well, but like for me personally, like my immediate trauma response is fight. I don't have a
Hmm.
problem being fucking like this attitude. And it will go to tenfold if you fucking piss me the fuck off, to a point where I now have it under control that I don't show that unless it's what I consider righteous anger, which is I've given you warning after warning and you
Right.
have keep fucking pushing me. So you're gonna get, teenage Tasha, which is not cute, right? She's still in there
Right.
forever and ever. So for me, because my parents couldn't handle my anger when I would get rejected and abandoned, which was fuck you, I hate you, like the really rebellious teenager thing, right? Because they
Right.
couldn't handle that, I went into people pleasing mode as a default mechanism. So when I got
Yeah.
out of the house, I was doing a lot of this. I'm super happy, everything's fine. How can I help you? And then people would say to me, "Why are you so angry all the time?" While I was doing this, and that would piss me
Yeah.
off more because I was trying so hard for people not to, because I didn't want to push them away, right? So
Right.
what do you, for people who are, and I see perfectionism, by the way, I would say perfectionism is for a lot of, and the overachieving is
Hmm.
for, I would say, high ticket coaches, let's say. Okay.
Hmm.
The ones where you look at their, or, anybody who's, in my opinion, makes a shit ton of money or has a big following or has a brand that they have to follow. You're
Right.
looking at their page and all you're seeing is flawlessness with maybe some authenticity put in there here and there, but you're not really seeing a lot of it. So do you have people that come to you that are in that realm, and how do you help them? What are some key components? Maybe just, you don't have to give out all your stuff, by the way, but like maybe just some key components that you think might help people who are in that space, who know that there's something deeper, right? And they're
Right.
going to try to move through that.
Yeah. I think that the very first thing that people need to start working on is awareness. And like we've already discussed with that word fine, the second the word fine comes out of your mouth, you need to stop and you need to sit down and you need to journal, you need to talk to someone, start figuring out what's going on, because that means you're not okay. And again, with these women, they are so repressed with not feeling like it's safe to express their emotions, not feeling like it's safe to be unhappy, or safe to be happy. So it's starting to build that awareness of there is something going on. I do have things in my life that make me unhappy. I need to acknowledge them, and for them to start to feel safe in that and to realize that's the way out. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that so many women in these categories, they don't want to face it,
And
because facing breaks the crystal house down. And then what? Then who am I? If I don't have all these things that I'm chasing after and pursuing and all of that, then who am I? And that is terrifying to them. And so yeah, once you start to kind of acknowledge, you start to build awareness around it, then it is learning to process your emotions, because emotional regulation is huge with these women, because they often just stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down until they snap in some form or fashion, either into deep, dark depression, don't get out of bed, or into
Burnout.
just rage, burnout, all of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's where kind of talking about the anger aspect, getting into that is my personal method that I love to use is breath work. And
Mhm.
I do transformative journey breath work. And it is one of the best things that I've found for these type of women who are apprehensive to go there, are apprehensive to admit things. It kind of pulls down some of the guards in their mind that they and these walls that they've built, and it helps them feel safe to kind of put the walls down, have a little look around and see what's going on. And then sometimes it is absolute floodgates that all of these emotions that they've been stuffing down for decades start to come out. And then with others, it's more a gradual process of releasing little bit by little bit by little bit. But yeah, anger is so key in all of that. And so I like to have like different ways for them to move the anger out of their body physically and energetically. And it's, I'm sure you know all of it. Like it's such a process.
Yeah,
And
and I think breath work, because I don't do breath work for me
Mhm.
personally. I mean, I have a 5-step process, and in my process, I have primal breath work that we do. We do
Yeah,
it for about a minute to 2 minutes at the most, and then we
yeah,
just go into the scream portion, right? So I think that breath work is so fucking important for people who do have that repressed, because what you're talking about is when you say they're in their like thoughts. So what you're talking about is when you do breath work, you go from here all the way down into the body. That's the
exactly.
person that's constantly like overthinking all the things, and they're just having to like, yeah, the overachiever really is like almost
Right,
ADHD. Almost every overachiever, everyone's guaranteed has got some ADHD stuff going on, right? So
right,
it gets them present in the body. And then what happens when we get in there? Has anybody read the book The Body Keeps the Score? I mean,
right.
once you
Mhm.
really get into that, and that's why I do want to specifically say too, I highly, highly, highly suggest that if you are not well versed in breath work and you've not done it, do not do this on your own the first time, or even the first like 3 times. Please make sure you have somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. Get a hold of Delane, get a hold of somebody that can walk you through this, because yes, it's kind of like doing TRE, right? Which are the
Mhm.
trauma release exercises. They tell you,
Right,
they're all over YouTube. Do not do these by yourself because, unless again, you're well versed in trauma release, because it
right,
will get you into your body that you've been ignoring for possibly your whole fucking life, right?
right.
So
Mhm.
that's what you're talking about, is that release of and being able to move through that. So I think, if you can, for me, I have a lot of clients who get terrified to do this work, because one of the main things they think is, oh my God, what if it doesn't stop? What if it overtakes me and I can't fucking control it? Because the leash has been up here on the animal for so many years. Why the fuck would I
Right,
let go of the leash? Because that's terrifying, right? So, and I know that there's thoughts of like, I'm going to turn into my dad who abused me, or I saw was abusive, my mom, my ex, whoever the fuck it was that like didn't give them a proper example of what healthy anger actually fucking looks like. So
right,
before you answer from your space, I definitely want to say that in my 4.5 years of doing this, helping literally uncountable hundreds of women at this point, I have never, and I mean fucking never, ever, ever, ever seen this do anything but bring peace and calm and happiness and clarity and power and money and better relationships and all kinds of things after you are done screaming your face off. So
Mhm.
you have to understand that, like, what you're doing is actually the dangerous part, not you. When
Yes.
when you're holding the
Yeah,
leash up here, you're actually creating think about it as an animal. You're creating the angry animal. It's being held back, and but if you think about when we train an animal and the trainer grabs the very angry animal and works with the angry animal, yes, it's this big boisterous like thing that's coming out of the animal because it's able to kind of let loose. But what happens afterwards? The dog is happy. The dog is calm. The dog is disciplined. The dog is now able to follow instructions. So yes, if an intruder comes up, now the anger, right, can go towards the thing you want it to instead of every single fucking thing that's coming towards the dog. This is a really great example. Pat myself on the fucking back for that one.
Yeah.
Because it's perfect, right? Like that really is like such a fucking like, and you are the trainer. Yes, you may have a guide like me or Delane to fucking help you, and we are guiding you. We don't do it for you. We guide you. You do it. But now you have the tools and the ability, which people are always like, what are the tools to like, how do I, and for me, it's like, there's not a lot of tools besides you now giving yourself permission in the moment to fucking be able to think and speak through your trauma response instead of it controlling you. So because what happens is when you finally get into that space of being able to be witnessed in a positive way and be held in this space, it's like, you can't say anything too gory to me. You can't tell me a story that's too big. Your shame is fucking, I consider myself a sin eater almost, right? Like I'm just like, I want all the nasty, gross details because I know you're bringing it up and bringing it out. You're not just talking about it. So what I see, and I'm sure you do too, is that when they finally do feel safe enough to let this stuff go, there's an alchemical process that happens. So now all of a sudden you're able to tolerate just because it's some magical shit that happens, you guys. You're able to tolerate somebody's anger better. You're able to think and speak through your own anger. You're able to articulate through your big emotions that you're feeling. This is priceless because now you're not going to fuck up your job. Now you're not going to fuck up your relationships. Now you're not going to fuck up your kids. You're going to stop screaming at your kids. You're going to stop saying all the horrible things to yourself. I mean, there's this, it's such a priceless thing that happens, right? So anyway, I want to make sure that I said that. What's coming up for you? Sure. You're gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of it, I echo the things that you say. And I think one thing too, just in clarification of all of this for people who are concerned is it's all about setting intention. If you're setting the intention that I am creating this container and this moment to release things, to like you said, and it's funny, I actually have a workshop, alchemizing anger.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're setting that moment and that intention and you have it in a, like, it's almost setting the container around it so that we're not pulling it out of this container. We're going to have this moment for ourselves to activate our inner healing, to activate our inner intuition and all of these beautiful things that lie within us. Then that's when the real change happens. That's when the magic happens, and you're able to not only release, but it's like in that release, it brings in more power to you. And so it's almost like this flow of like the anger releases, the power comes in, the anger releases, the power, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And it's this beautiful, what the hell just happened? But at the end, people, their eyes are huge and they're looking around going, oh my gosh. And it's this, it's like you plugged yourself into a socket and all of a sudden all of this, like you said, these emotions that you've shoved down and covered them in guilt and shame. I mean, some people's is like concreted down inside their body. Like it's like there's a wall around it. And when you just decide to finally break that open and release it, it's incredible what happens. And it's so cool to see. And I think that you were beautiful in describing it with the dog analogy. And the other one that I hear that is so powerful is that, like, if you can see your emotions as a cup, and when they're full, that cup is full with your emotions, it's just falling out all the time. All these bad emotions fall out of your cup.
And when you say falling out, we're talking about people, situation, yourself, your body, right? Your money, like all the things.
Yeah. Oh, everything. Yeah. It's literally every aspect of you. And then when you purposefully pull out the cup and you're doing it again with intention, then you get to A, pick what's in your cup, and then B, your cup also isn't overflowing with all of these excess bad emotions that you're trying to hide and that you feel guilty and shameful about.
Well, you also can pick up the cup and put it in, dump it out when you need to in the fucking sink where it's supposed to fucking go, right? Your hands around it. Whereas right now the cup is kind of just like you're in a boat and shit, and it's just going wherever the fuck it wants because it's out of control. And I know that feeling of it is so overwhelming that you can't ever imagine like it being like a good thing to let all of that out. But again, you're the one you're doing it on purpose. Right now, it's doing it on purpose to you. It's just doing it to you. It's doing it to you. It's not working for you. It's working against you. You know, so I really love that analogy. Also, I wanted to see if you had any ways of so tell people, a lot of people say this. I'll say, do you think you have any repressed? First of all, I want everybody who's listening to this to close their fucking eyes when I'm going to ask this question. Okay? Here we go. Close your eyes. Do you have any repressed anger? Do you have any unresolved anger? Now, for those of you that have it, you will more than likely, one of two things will happen. One, you'll be like, oh shit, something was like, okay, there might be something there. And other people will feel completely numb. There's nothing, can't feel anything. And the other people will say, no, I don't have any of that. If you have the oh shit or the numbness, you have a ton. In fact, if you are numb, you have the most of anyone. So that's something to really, just because you don't ever feel your anger, that's not something to brag about. That's not healthy. It's not human. It's not normal. It's not natural. Anger is no different than happiness, right? If we had all happiness all the time, we've seen those people, toxic positivity people. That is also unhealthy. That's also unbalanced. I just watched a dating show, this show called Sneaky Links. It's stupid. But one of the people there that were one of the kids, they're like 20 years old, that were there, she's just always like this all the time, super happy. And one of the guys that's trying to date her, he's like, I really love so-and-so. He's like, but I feel like I can't get deeper with her. I can't get through the beautiful, this girl's stunningly gorgeous, by the way. I can't get through the beauty. I can't get through to her depth. Like, really, like, how powerful is that statement? Like, somebody who's 26 years old doesn't even get, like, any of the things that are actually happening with that, right? And to see her go through that process, that at the end, she was like, wow, I really got an opportunity to kind of go deeper and like show other emotions and have more serious conversations. Like, you can't tap into your authenticity, your power, your passion, your true potential in this world. Why the fuck are you even alive if you can't tap into your true potential? You can't do that without your getting deeper into your emotions. And I'll guarantee you, as we all know, anger is a secondary emotion. So yeah, that's shit, right? Like, secondary to fucking everything. So really, if you're feeling anger, really what you're expressing is pain, shame, guilt, sadness. Like, it's all combined. And if you're only able, which a lot of women are, only able to tap into your tears and that pisses you off, one of the ways to tap into your anger, by the way, is to let that make you mad. Start crying. Start crying and then start thinking to yourself how pissed off you are that all you can do is fucking cry. That's the anger. Tap into that. Start saying out loud, I'm so angry I can't cry. I can only cry. I'm so angry I can only cry. Well, who the fuck did this to me? And really, you'll tap into that anger really fucking quickly if you go that route. Like, I remember I was in this place where I could not scream out loud because I was living with roommates. And I found the somatic shaking. I was like, okay, this is the way I can get some stuff out of my body, right? And so I would start doing the thing on YouTube, and I'm a perfectionist also, by the way. Imagine that. And I was doing it. I felt like I was doing it wrong. And when I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I get really fucking mad. And so I started to do it. Then I would like clench my teeth and I would silently scream. I just put something up on, it was one of my most shared posts, by the way, the silent scream. I don't know if you saw that on my page, but it's been shared a lot and a lot of people really resonated with it. And so I would just do this silent scream thing and I would whisper, like silently, whatever, I'd still say it. I'm so mad I can't get this right. Fuck. And I would just like start cursing and doing all the things. And I would keep shaking which is where some of my 5-step process came from, right? Like, really just follow whatever it is, just even the word of like anger, meaning like, think about what's done to you. For those of you who can't tap into it, right? Think about what's been done to you. Now picture that being done to somebody else you love, your daughter, your sister, your best friend. Like, picture the details of what happened to you and you're sitting there and you're watching it happen to them. If that starts to make you angry, tap into their anger and then start saying the words, this happened to me, this happened to me, I'm actually angry because it's happened to me. That's another way to try to tap into that and get into that. Also being able to say, if you think about, I should be angry at what happened to me, and then say what happened to you. This happened to me. Say the details out loud. This is what happened to me. My father came into my room that night, blah, blah, blah. Like, go down the fucking details and say, I should be angry about this. I get to be angry about this. And even if you have to fake it, like, fucking pretend you're me. Pretend you're somebody you've seen that gets angry. Like, just fucking, like, step into, like you were saying, it's like breath work, right? Like, when you step into the motion of it, you're just getting into the motion of it. Your body starts to fucking remember. Totally. Okay, so again, if you don't feel safe doing this, contact me, contact Delane, contact somebody else that can hold space for you while you move through these really big emotions that, are moving up and out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, so, absolutely. And I think one thing that you're highlighting, and I think it's something that people don't understand, because when I first started out with a lot of my messaging, it was just, I do nervous system regulation.
Yes.
Because I didn't really know how to talk about things yet. And so then people were super confused when they'd show up for like a coaching call or something like that. And I'm talking about us all getting angry and pissed off and we're raging together. And they're like, that doesn't make it.
When you think nervous system regulation, you think calm, peace.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's everybody thinks it's getting to this state where literally nothing bothers you and you're calm and you're happy all the time. And that's insane. Like, that's not what humans are meant to be. Like, that's never going to be the goal. And if you think that's the goal, then you still are caught in those patterns of perfectionism, people pleasing, over functioning, all of it, because that's not what we're meant to be. But what we're meant to be is to be in a beautiful flow of all of it, that emotions come through us and we're, like you said, giving ourselves permission and allowing ourselves to be mad about the things that we actually need to be mad about. And then we move on from it, as opposed to carrying it with us and then building resentment and then just getting pissed off at more and more things and then building up this whole life full of resentment, anger, fear, and everything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's, when you really tap into the side of yourself too, I think there's another thing that people are really afraid of. It's like, how is my life going to change when I find my voice? And you do have to be prepared for that. You have to ask yourself that hard question of, am I willing to stay small, to possibly die small? Because I don't know about you, but a bunch of people have already died this year. A lot of people died last year. How many people do you know have taken their own lives? Like, our life can just be gone. So you have to decide, am I willing to spend whatever time is left for me small, especially if those of us are getting older, right? Like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 49, right? So as we get older, like, are you willing to stay that for everybody else? Or are you willing to find who you really are and find out who's really actually fucking meant for your ass? Because I'll tell you right now, the minute you start saying, and by the way, when you do this work and you get this like shit that's, I tell people my work doesn't remove trauma, but it removes trauma layers. Like, whatever you come in with, that shit's going to be gone when I'm done working with you after only one fucking session. Okay, one. Now, when that's gone, you have this ability, again, it's just something natural that happens. You don't have to be taught it, okay, to express how you feel. So when you start coming to people and saying, that doesn't feel good to me. Hey, can we talk about that? This has actually made me really angry. Do you have some space to hold for me while I express that? Like, when you start coming to people in that healthy manner, not just, like fire breathing in their faces, you quickly find out who the fuck is there for you. And you have to be ready to say, I may have built my life as a reflection of an older version of myself that didn't know how to speak up. And in a lot of ways, we're keeping ourselves stuck at home in that way, right? Yeah. Your partner may resemble your father, your mother, whoever, that you're still trying to get that, oh my God, you're special, I love you, I'm sorry, I'll change type shit, right? Like, how much longer, like, Jesus, how many of you listening have chronic fucking pain? How many of you know that a lot of your anger sits in that chronic pain because you haven't been allowed to fucking say how you feel and express how you feel with those around you because they cannot handle it, right? So you really do have to ask yourself. And that is, horse water, right? It's the whole fucking thing. Like, I've tried, I know you have too, like a million times to offer my shit for free to people. I've like, you can only afford $10 for my program and you want to come in, great, come in. Guess what happens? I'm not kidding, but not everyone, but I would say 90% of those people, they don't do it. They're too scared. They back out. They get mad at me for fucking things. They hold me
Right.
account, which whatever. I don't have a problem with it. I know how it goes. But everybody that's paid, and not paid, it's investing, right? It's they know the cost. They're willing to pay this cost instead of this cost, which is the cost to their fucking health. I just had somebody find me just recently. I don't even fucking say out loud on my page anymore what I do. Like, it's obvious what I do, but I don't like market my business anymore, right? I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. Anyways, she found me and she was like, I nobody can hold space for me, and I need somebody who won't shut me up. And when I told her that one of my steps is an anger purge list, where I have them write out every single thing they've ever been pissed off about, ever, in a specific format, and then they fucking read it out loud. And I gave an example. I said it's gotta have like an anger statement in front of every single sentence. And one of the things I said, here's an example, I'm mad because I'm angry because I hate so-and-so because I want to kill so-and-so because, and she's like, ooh, I get to say the word kill. And I was like, girl, you can say murder. I said, I remember like doing my own before I put it out there. I have a forgiveness practice I never really talk about, but I remember like pulling my father's energy in and telling him that I wanted to like skin him and wear him as a Halloween fucking costume. Like, I remember just feeling so much hatred and fucking anger towards that man. You know what I mean? And it took me 3 sessions of 45 minutes to get through all my fucking anger with him, right? So there was just this, just horrifically horror movie shit coming out of me. But after 3 sessions, I was like, that was years ago. I'm like, I still have layers that I've had to work through. Like, things have come from like, oh, that's my dad again. Fuck. Right? But I kind of chuckle at it. I'm like, well, here's another thing I guess we gotta fucking work through today. And I just do it. I pull in, my people from the other side, and those are my witnesses. I pull them in. I fucking I pull his ass in, and I fucking make him sit there when he can't look at me funny. He can't say shit. And I just say everything I need to say. And then I fucking literally be like, now you can go. Like, I don't want to hear from you. I don't fucking care. Like, it's such a powerful process to fucking do that,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So what are some tools? So the awareness is one of them. Do you have any other tools that you want to talk about that you think might help people to be able to tap into their stuff?
I mean, I think that
awareness and journaling are really big. They're big ones.
Yeah, that's what instead of, because I think lots of times when I start talking about tools, it starts to just overwhelm people.
Yes.
And I really think I want to just encourage courage and boldness to go in and go inside more than anything. Like, whether it's journaling or whether it's doing breath work or it's doing anything, I cannot tell you how much your life is going to change if you simply stop and get still and start to look within and explore these things, because we are so frightened to do it, and it can change your life immensely. And like you said, like, find someone who can witness you, find someone who can support you, and do it safely, not just throwing it out there that I'm going to make all my anger go away and here I am going to do it right now by myself. But yeah, be bold. You can do this because you have no idea what's on the other side. And that's the thing that really needs to be the motivator, is just the excited and creative exploration of what is on the other side. And that's what so many of my clients, like, they quit their jobs, they start their own business, they do all of these things that they never ever thought they were going to be able to do. Or, I mean, it would seem like the dream that was too big for them. And that's what's so exciting to see, is then we work together and then a year later they come back and they've got this dream business built, and they're like, I had no idea, like, this was meant for me. And it's so exciting to see that, and for them to have, created this for themselves and found their power and found their voice and all of these things. And even like just yesterday, I had a summer solstice breath work, and a person had a huge release in that one. And that's at the end, they said, I found my voice. And they're trying to, like, they're an entrepreneur, and they created a successful business, but they had trouble creating another one that really represented them. And now they were just like, it's on. I'm frightened at like how well this is all coming together now, and I'm going to blow it away. It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
I love
So yeah, it's so cool to see. And so that's what
that.
I, more than tools, like it is build your awareness, find a way to start to recognize these emotions and work with someone and help them get it out. Um, but yeah, don't be afraid, because whatever's on the other side is so much better than what you're
I
living in
mean,
right now.
I mean, I wouldn't say don't be afraid, because as you and I both know, that's not going to fucking happen. Do it.
Totally.
Do it
Be
afraid,
afraid, do it
right?
anyway.
Do it
Yeah.
afraid. Do
Hmm.
it afraid. And
Totally.
there's a great book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. That's a great book. I would
Totally.
highly suggest it to anyone who is like so like in their freeze trauma response of like, can't fucking do that.
Hmm.
So you know, for somebody, again, another tools. Interesting, all these tools coming up. I don't normally have these. Must be some psychic thing happening, but I think another tool is if you can't, if even thinking about like being angry or saying I get to be angry scares you, saying the
Yeah.
words I hold on. The words are I just fucking went out of my head. Oh, I'm willing to be angry. I'm
Hmm.
willing to see what it's like for me to be angry and be free of this. I'm willing to possibly be angry. I'm willing to possibly see what this might be like. Like, give your, even those slight words will start to move things in your energy. I
Hmm.
promise you. But
Yeah.
again, if you are somebody who's like, I just don't feel anger. There's just not a reason for it. Like, nothing really makes me upset. And, you know, I just really like, I'm just Zen and I just, you know, deal with things through meditation and
Hmm.
calm speaking and bullshit. I call fucking bullshit. Your system is wanting to let go and release so badly that
Yeah.
it's like it's palpable. I can see it in
Yeah.
somebody too. They don't even have to fucking speak, and I can be like, "Oh, that person's pissed off to
Yeah.
no end." And I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
because I want to get my hands on them so badly and be like, "Why are you angry?
Yeah.
Why are you mad? I want to do what somebody did to me and make them really pissed. Why are you mad? Why are you angry?" Yeah.
Right.
Like I
Totally.
have like one of my dreams is to get a hold of like Britney Spears or fucking
Hmm.
Demi Lovato, like these women who are
Yeah.
like famous who have to be this certain way, and then when they lose their shit, they're like shamed upon, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the post about the woman who lost it on the airplane? They got drunk.
No.
Oh
Mm-mm.
my god, I can't remember what her damn name is, but those who are watching probably know. This woman was really drunk, and there was a overweight woman who was in the plane, and she was pissed, didn't want to sit next to her, which was weird because it was sit where you want. So obviously this woman chose
Okay.
to be pissed off at her, was
Right.
calling her a fat ass, was like saying look how fat she is. Like she was just, they ended up like throwing her on the ground, cuffing her. Like she ended up on a
Gosh.
stretcher going out because I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed out. I don't know. She was like freaking out. So anyways, it's like I've been seeing, every time I see one of those posts, I literally write in there, if anybody knows this woman, send her to me. Send her to me. I need to get her
Yeah.
shit, because I think about addicts and
Hmm.
how many rehab facilities don't have proper like a proper actual program for them to release their anger, which is where a
Right.
lot of their fucking addiction, their ability to the
Oh, yeah.
ability to not say no to their addiction stays in, right? Because you're an addict, you're an addict.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, I think anything can be cured, so to speak, but I'm not going to say that for this. So anyway, I just really want to give a space. I really have a dream of having my work in rehab centers, because
Mhm.
I just know, if they had a proper space to like really talk about why they are mad about what happened to them that literally made them an addict, whether it's
Right.
bloodline or it's abuse or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's needed. It's anger release is like, I tell people all the time, it's the deepest work you'll do besides sexual abuse work. Like
Hmm.
it's the deepest, because it's
Yeah.
the thing that we're not allowed to do. And when
Right.
when it's seeped in shame, as you know, is the lowest vibrating emotion on the fucking planet. You know,
Right.
so if you can get through shame, you can get through fucking anything. Anything.
Hmm.
Nothing will stop you if you can work through shame.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when you think about why can't I get angry and shame starts to come up, please know that if that is your signal that something big is going to release and happen for you, like big
Right.
time, because shame is if there was an emotion that represented the devil, it would be shame. Most
Right.
definitely. I don't believe in the devil. I don't think fucking hell exists. But I do believe that is the emotion of evil, is shame.
Yeah. I
So
totally agree. Yeah.
yeah, such a
Yeah.
big
And one thing I kind of want to add, because our focus, and I know this is like a thing that tends to happen to people who are very trauma informed, is we've been talking about big trauma, big trauma, big trauma. And one thing I want to point out, just for like people that are within the realms of what I've worked with, is they always say, like, I would say, on average, 80% of my clients say, but I don't have any trauma. Like, I have no trauma
Oh,
at all.
nice.
And yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Because
let's
that's,
let's
I would have
speak
said
to
the
those
same thing.
people. Yes,
Yeah,
tell me about those people.
yeah,
Tell me for the people that are watching that are like that, what you might
right.
say to them to help them realize that they have some big issues they need to work through.
Right. Well, I mean, in the end, the bottom line of all of this, perfectionism and people pleasing and over functioning, all of that, that doesn't just create, it's like you're not born like that. It doesn't create itself in a vacuum. It creates itself because of trauma. And no, it might not be that you felt how you perceive unsafe in your childhood home, but that doesn't mean that your emotional needs were met. And that doesn't mean, even if your parents told you that they loved you, does that still mean that your emotional needs were met? No, it doesn't. Like, there's so many layers upon layers upon layers to this that you could, by your definition, look back and say, my childhood was great. It was idyllic. My parents are sweet. Like, that can all be true, and you can still be traumatized.
Mhm.
And even very good intentioned parents totally screw up their kids too. So, and that's what one thing that
It's
came through a
inevitable.
lot. Exactly. And even doing this work with me, pointed out so many things I was doing to my stepson. It was just like, oh my God, like I am perpetuating this generational trauma right now. Like, I am doing the very thing that made me the way that I am. I'm doing it to him right now. I cannot believe this. And so that's also what's so beautifully healing about this kind of work, is that not only do you get to feel better, but you also get to stop these patterns that keep getting passed down again and again and again. And yeah, we cannot underestimate just even little bitty things having a huge impact on us. And one example I give that seems to really get through to people is a big trauma of my life. And I do have greater traumas, but this one, as far as just influencing who I was and what my focus was and who I wanted to be. When I was in fourth grade, I had this huge crush on this kid, and I thought he was just the cutest thing I'd ever seen. And I was one of those wear your heart on your sleeve kind of girls that I would tell everybody my crush. And I just, yeah, I was completely open. I was not held down at all. I didn't have any filters. I just was out there loving the world and thinking that the world loved me back.
No.
And I confessed to a friend that really liked him. Can you see if he's interested in me? And eventually the friend came back and said, no, he thinks you're too ugly. And in that moment, being in fourth grade, like, that changed a whole trajectory for me. So, like, people look at that story and it's like, oh, but kids are horrible. Like, they do horrible. Yeah. And it caused a trauma for me. It caused me to start to see that my looks were the only value that I had to give. And that's all I need to focus on. I just need to worry about being perceived as pretty. And if I do that, then there'll be people to like me, and there will be people to think that I'm worthy of love. And so yeah, you can see that trajectory spin off in my life, and it was something seemingly little, but it had a very big impact on me. And so that's something to kind of take in, is taking in these stories that, yeah, little things may have happened to you, and that's true, that could be true, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have a giant impact that forever changed you as a person.
Yes, girl, I'm so glad that you talk about this, because I do have a lot of people say the same things. So like they'll get into my programs when I was doing them. I was doing this like 6-week program, 3 to 6 week program, and they would come in and they would say, well, I'm afraid my story's not big enough. Like, it's
Yeah.
not as big as so and so's story. And I'm like, did it feel like shit to you?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel like
Exactly.
shit? Did it make
Yeah.
you feel abandoned, rejected, and like maybe you didn't want to fucking be on this earth anymore? Did it feel like shit to you?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, guess what? The whole point of being in here is everybody feels like shit. That's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the ultimate, and also I tell people all the time, like, I hate to see it all the time. The person with the small story, no such thing, right?
Right.
Would tell their story. And then the person with the big story would look at the person with the small story into the screen and say, oh my God, thank you for saying that. I never saw it that way. I thought I was the only one who felt like it's all the same shit, people. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're once again stuck in the lies of what everybody's told you, which is you're not important, your needs aren't important, your story's not important, your voice is not important. You know, whatever it is, you're not, it's too much, too big, whatever. The other thing I want to touch on before I forget, because I have perimenopause brain and it fucking just decides to stop quitting from time to time, is the fact of people who are like, I feel really guilty for being mad at my parents. They did the best they could. They also grew up with abuse. They didn't really abuse me. They did, you know, they provided and, you know, maybe my dad wasn't as like, you know, affectionate or whatever, but, you know, he wasn't a bad person.
Right.
So this is what we call bypassing. You're immediately going to, okay, but do you feel upset about something? Like you're saying, like, were your needs met the way you would have wanted them to be met? Was there still a feeling of, oh, I really want that and I'm not getting that and I miss that and I'm sad for that? Do you feel that way? Well, yes, but nope. So whenever somebody's in my program, I would seriously cut them off every time and be like, you don't get to say anything nice about your fucking parents in here. You don't get to say anything nice about them. I'm sorry. You are only going to talk about the things you're fucking pissed off about. Because every time you go, but, or, and, you know, and I understand that why we come here for blah, blah, blah. Like every time you do it, it's like somebody handing, I call it the tissue effect. You're crying, somebody hands you a tissue, it interrupts your process. Now you're not crying anymore and the shit's now stuck in your body still. Right. No, we want you to just say, I didn't like that, period. Yeah. That made me feel like I was not loved enough, period. We don't care about your parents in here. It's nothing to do with them. And the guilt around being mad at them, like you're not going to call them up unless you really want to, but you're not going to call them up and be like, I hate you. I can't believe what you fucking did. And really what you're doing is you're clearing out more shit so you can actually love them more. So you can actually understand them more. So you can actually fucking connect more to them. Like get it out of, or people who are dead. I don't want to be mad at somebody who's dead and passed over. Okay, being psychic, let me just tell everybody something you probably already fucking know. When we get to the other side, nobody gives a fuck. Okay, everything is perfect. Everything is beautiful. We see every reason for every fucking thing. And let me tell you, your loved one does not want you carrying any animosity, any shame, any nothing associated with them. They want you to get that up and get it out. They don't want you holding on to that and carrying that anymore at all. They don't want to be a reason why you are carrying or feeling pain or fucking heaviness of any sort. So they want you to get mad at them because they know that you're doing it for a therapeutic reason. They know you're doing it to get it off of you. So also, by the way, you'll have people who can't connect with their loved ones and don't understand why they can't connect with their loved ones. It's not easy for a loved one that's passed over to connect with us over here. And if your emotions are too intense towards them, whether that be sadness, whether that be happiness, whether that be anger, okay, whether that be shame, whatever it is, it's directed at them. It makes it almost impossible for them to fucking connect with you. So the more lighter you get, the more grounded, the more in your body, the more almost, I would say logical almost, that you get in regards to them, the easier they can connect with you. So take that into account also for those that are like, I'm so mad that my best friend, you know, killed themselves. Or my father or my mother. Like you get to be mad about that. You get to be pissed. You get to be angry about it. Give yourself permission to be mad about those things. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So Delane, can you tell me, like, if you want to, like, I can tell people, like, I have a 5-step process and this is the fucking thing. Can you tell me what it would be like, for a potential client to come to you? Like, what is your process with them? They would come in and you would do like, what is the process?
Yeah. So what we do, I start with the consultation with anybody who's curious about working together, because I really want to hear your story and see kind of what I see playing out within that story, because I've been doing this enough now that I start to see all the different themes, and that helps me kind of build a plan creatively with you. And then what we try to do is starting with, like I said, the awareness and really talking about nervous system regulation and building in recognition of understanding trauma responses, being able to determine, are you in fight or flight or freeze or fawn, and just being able to understand more what regulation looks like. And again, tying into that thing of we're not shooting for calm and collected all the time, but like really, what does it look like to be resilient and to be understanding of our emotional sequences that we go through? And then we start to, once we feel regulated, like me and the client together feel like they can regulate big things when they come up, that's when we start to move into the breath work and really doing that deep exploration of releasing things from our life, receiving things, calling in different things. And I'm pulling upon their different, like there's people that come to me that are spiritual, there's some that are spiritual and religious, there's some that are neither nor, and it's just pulling in whatever it is that's going to help them get to that next place where they trust themselves, where they feel their intuition and they deeply know it's telling them the right thing, where they can be present in their body and their body is guiding them as opposed to their brain and all the nonsense that their brain is going to tell them.
Right.
And then I just move into different coaching. It all just depends on kind of what patterns we're seeing there, but then doing more coaching around the different personality patterns that they have that are self-sabotaging them and helping them deeply understand it. And I feel like it's kind of a process with all of these personality patterns. First, you get awareness, then you start to react after the fact. Like you'll look at a conversation and you're like, oh my God, I was people pleasing the whole time. That's awful. But I have them sit down after that conversation, write down what you think happened, like write down the things that you regret. And so we might do meditation and help them really explore, like, how could I have done that differently, trying to rewire their brain, and then do breath work to help with like the subconscious rewiring. And then eventually it gets to the point where they start to see before the conversation, this could be a opportunity for me to people please. I'm going to hold my ground. Here are the boundaries that I have. Here's the things that I'm not backing down on. And so then it completely shifts the way that they are with other people. And then it moves on from there just to keep getting better and better. And
So how
so
long is your process? Is it is it a one time? Like what is the time like of working with you?
it's it varies according to their needs. Like the privates, I try to meet with them once a week in the beginning, especially just to help them get really deep understanding of nervous system regulation and somatics and all of that. And then it kind of depends on what they need and where they are in their process, because I have a lot of clients that are social workers and therapists, and they know exactly what they need. They just
Yes.
haven't been able to find it for themselves. And
So
so
do
those people,
you do online or
yeah,
do you do in person?
both.
Both. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt you. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, so yeah, it can be just a few weeks with those people, makes great progress and gets them to where they are, and then they just need like a once a month check-in. But then there's other people. My program, how I designed it, is 12 weeks, and I do that with groups, and then I also do that privately. But it just kind of depends on the individual. Like that's the thing that after doing this for a few years now, I've gotten to the point that I don't want a cookie cutter anything. And so I just
Yes.
really want it to be so personalized with them. And I want us to create it together
Yeah.
and get really creative with the process, because that's where I see the amazing results. If I come in with like my whole, this is how I do it, then
Yeah.
inevitably that blows
It
up and
doesn't
it
work.
doesn't work right.
Excuse
Right.
me. By the way, my
Yeah.
yawning is always like spirit confirmation release of things, so it's not me being bored as fuck. So yeah, so there's some confirmation clearing happening around that. Sounds like you do really powerful work. Thank you for what you fucking do in this world. I've really enjoyed having you on here. I want to ask you, first of all, how do people get in touch with you? If you are connecting with Delane, how do you want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so online you can just search, I'll spell my name. It's D''Layne, and then the last name is Benson, Benson. And technically my company is Delane Benson Wellness, so you can find me like that online. And then my Instagram is Delane Benson Wellness without the apostrophe. And that's probably like the easiest way. Get in that and go into the bio, and then you can get
Okay,
into all my services. And I do
perfect.
have I've got an alchemizing anger class coming up soon too,
Oh, good.
virtually. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
that's
when
actually in my bio right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's fantastic. So if anybody's feeling like you're connecting with Delane, like really, and if you can't find her, you can always try to get a hold of me and I will obviously get you connected to her as well. So yeah, anything that you want to leave everybody with before we go?
Hmm. I think more than anything, I I just want to reemphasize what I said about we just don't understand what's out there for us. And if you get curious and if you push yourself, it's amazing what can happen. And I echo what you said about, because I'm in midlife as well. I'm 47, turning 48 soon, and midlife is such a reckoning. And it just feels like all of this stuff that you've been avoiding your whole life comes flooding into you. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you find yourself in that phase of life, it's time for reinvention. It's time for finally facing these things and moving on to a beautiful new life that is completely of your creation and not everyone else's, and not trying to follow the status quo. So go after it. Like, just, it's all worth it. All of the work, all of the things that you'll go through are completely worth it in the end.
Love that fucking advice. Yes. I mean, if
Yeah.
your body is like reacting, if you're at the end of this, yeah, come on now. Like, you're the something, you listen to your body. It does not lie to you. And if you keep not listening to it, it's going to make you listen. So you can
Right.
decide what level that is, you know. It's funny too,
Yeah.
just before we go to, I want to just barely touch on what you were saying about like when we get to this like age, right? I feel
Yeah.
like I have a perimenopause support group. You can look that up on Facebook. It's literally perimenopause support. And it's got almost 20,000 women in it. And it's very high engagement. And I see a lot of women. I always offer my services. Nobody ever takes me up on them. But I see a lot of women just like, where's all this rage coming from? What's with peri rage? And
Yeah.
when I make TikToks about this, I get thousands of views on these fucking videos because it's such a fucking big deal. So I want to tell, and I just looked up, it was 55 minutes and 55 seconds as I said that. So I want to make sure to tell you guys that, like, if you're a woman who's all of a sudden feeling rage as you're coming into this new, you know, era of the moving into the crone, right? Which I think is a fucking sexy, amazing thing, by the way. I fucking love that word. I think it's incredible. What's happening is, don't get me wrong, it's for me, it's a very small percentage. I would say maybe 5-10% of the women, it's actual, which is hormones, strictly hormones. But I would say for most women, what it is you already have repressed anger and the hormones are intensifying what's already fucking there. And I've also had women say in there as well, like, are you mad or are you finally not shutting up? Is your body finally, the hormones, not allowing you to stay silent for 1 second fucking longer? And all the shit that you have stuffed for your whole 45, 48, 52 years is now coming up to come out in all its glory. Yeah. So like, really ask yourself, do I have repressed, unresolved anger while still dealing with peri rage? Because it's a fucking thing. And once again, go searching for a way to get that out of your body, please, because it's just not going to go away. I'm sorry, it's not. If you don't deal with it, it deals with you in the ways of mainly chronic pain. We've seen that. Guess who has the most autoimmune diseases? Women. Guess what's at the core? What's his name? Gaber Mate. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Gabor Mate.
Mate. Yes, I love him. He literally talks about how it's been scientifically proven that women who have unresolved repressed anger have autoimmune diseases. Yeah. Autoimmune disorders. I had a woman come in who had CRPS. CRPS or CPRS? CRPS, which is a nervous system disorder. Right. And she had that for many, many years. I mean, it made her to the point where she was almost paralyzed and couldn't hardly walk. And she did her own research. She went to an actual facility that was supposed to be the only facility in the whole world that could cure. And by the way, it was like 99% only women that were in there. And the one emotion they wouldn't let them feel was anger. Every other emotion. And the thing is, this woman, she told him, she's like, I used to play softball and I need to throw my softball. Like, I need to go and get mad and get angry. And I've gotten to a place in my body where I can actually move it. I need to move my body and get mad. And they said, nope, that will cause a flare up. So she spent, I was close to like $100,000 at this fucking, you were only supposed to be in there for a certain amount of time. She was in there for like double the amount of time they said that she would be in there for. She left not being cured the way they said that she would be. She somehow got her dad to pay for my course. It was like, I was doing like a mini course. It was like only like a week long. And after she screamed her face off, she went into remission. And she's been in remission ever fucking since. Now, I don't take full fucking account for that. She did a shit ton of fucking work up until that point. But what finally pulled her into a space of being able to actually handle. I mean, this woman who couldn't get in a pool. She couldn't run. She couldn't handle wind on her fucking skin. There was things that she couldn't go out and be out in the world with people for a certain amount of time. She'd have to go home. And after she did that work, that screaming work of getting that out of her body, she went into fucking remission. This was like 3 years ago. And only continued to get fucking stronger. So yeah, this work matters. Have the courage to fucking go see where it can take you personally, what your personal journey with it, because it is personal. And that's why our work, like yours and mine, Delaney, we can't do cookie cutter, because it has to. I mean, mine's cookie cutter in some aspects of like a guideline, like yours is, but it always goes in some other direction on some aspects, and we have to be ready for that, which I know you are as well. So yeah, so just, if you're here, if you're listening, if you've listened all the way through, like, please be proud of yourself. Please be proud of your body. Say thank you to your body, because it means something, and it's not a small thing. It's a big deal. So anyways, this was a powerful conversation. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you. I love connecting with powerful anger therapists, in my opinion, is what we are, coaches.
Exactly.
I love it. I look forward to the next one. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Bye, everyone.